In this episode of Falmouth in Focus, we'll meet Neighborhood Falmouth's new incoming executive director, find out about a way to help pay your energy bills this winter, learn about a unique program in the schools that has become an annual tradition, and celebrate an international festival of lights at a local gallery. All this and much more on this episode of Falmouth in Focus.
Hello and welcome to Falmouth in Focus, FCTV's current affairs program. I'm your host, Michael Kasparian. The beginning of a new year is traditionally an opportunity to leave the stress and problems of the past year behind, and a time to make resolutions that will help to make us all better people in the future. Unfortunately, the continuing spread of COVID-19 is a troubling reminder that we are still in the midst of a pandemic and must stay healthy by following the guidelines for social distancing, mask wearing, and following good sanitary habits as we encourage all to get vaccinated and boosted for COVID-19. The Friday briefings by Falmouth's health agent, Scott McGann, are a good way to stay informed of the latest restrictions and latest vaccine and testing information. You can view the briefings on FCTV Government Channel 15, our Facebook page, YouTube channel, and fctv.org. Massachusetts residents can request digital proof of their COVID-19 vaccinations for use at any business or venue that may require the information. The tool unveiled recently is part of a system called the SMART, S-M-A-R-T, Health Card, which is already used by California, Connecticut, New York, Rhode Island, and several other states. It is also connected to major pharmacies including CVS, Walmart, and Walgreens. Scott McGann explains how to download, install, and use the new digital card.
Hi, I'm Scott McGann with the Falmouth Health Department, and I've been asked to navigate the vaccine cards. If you've lost your vaccine card, you can go on the state and get a new one through what we're about to do. So right now we're on TV with a computer, all right, so it's Town of Falmouth's website, and I'm just going to write in mass.gov vaccine card, and let's see what we get. So up here is mass.gov requesting a copy of your vaccination records. So they want you to visit myvaxrecords.mass.gov. So let's click on it. And it's going to ask you to find your vaccine record. You would click on it right over here. And you put in your information and you hit submit. Now, it's giving you a choice of cell phone or email. I think probably easier for most people to do email. It's probably going to issue you a QR code, which is the ones that look like a barcode, but they're square. And I hate those too. I've had season tickets since 1993 to the Patriots, and I want my paper card in my lanyard. This year is the first year they have QR codes, so my wife and I have to go in there together with her phone because it's on her phone, or you have to send it and share it and all this other nonsense, and then you have to have the QR code in order to get in there, and there's always 5 people, usually over 50 like I am, on their phones off to the side trying to figure out how to download it because it can't be an image, it has to be the original QR. They're a pain in the butt, but we're going to have to get used to it because QR codes is something that seems to be in the future. So if you get a QR code, it does say you can print it out, so maybe it's a little different from my PATS tickets where it has to be the original email. So what it's going to ask you to do is to fill out, if you click on email, it's going to ask for your email up in here. You're going to put your birth date. Now, one of the things you want to be careful of is the first name, last name. If you've lost your card, you won't know exactly how it was filled out, but some people have hyphenated names. I have a capital G in my last name. If it said lower G by the person who filled it out, it may have a little trouble sort of finding you, depending on how the search engine is set up. Some search engines are pretty broad, some are very fine-tuned. It's going to want you to create a PIN, so pick out your PIN and hit submit. Now, we can't get any further than that unless you get all my personal information, which I'm not going to do on here. And you should be getting an email. And if your email is a QR code, then the QR code should be able to be scanned. I'm not quite sure how it looks unless I fill this out. But that's how you would go on and get your vaccine records. When the state sets up new programs, whether it was registering for vaccines roughly this time last year, right? It was our show. They'll improve the system. Now, VaxFinder works great now if you're good on the computer. I mean, it does. It truly works. Again, if you're not good on the computer, just dial 211. But I think the state, if there's bugs to be worked out, they'll work out the bugs. It usually comes in and it's pretty crappy at the beginning and gets better. But that's how you would do it. So again, it's at myvaxrecords.mass.gov. If you're really struggling, we can probably help you at the health department, though I do not want 200 calls a week. But if you're having trouble, we will try to help you. And again, it's computer-based, and not everybody's on the computer, and that's where it gets tricky. But that's how the state wants you to do it. Again, if you have no computer access, again, dial the 211 and talk to somebody who can help you. We can try too, but 211 is where I would guide you to start. And 211 is where an operator from the state should be able to help you with all this stuff. But again, that's how you do it. Again, myvaxrecords.com, myvax with an X, records.mass.gov. So, play with it. Give me some feedback if you want to email health@falmouthma.gov. If you have any questions, we can try helping you as well. And I'll play around with this some more. Maybe we'll talk about it a little bit more next week. So, good luck. Thank you.
Thanks to Jeff Wyman for that story, and to our health agent, Scott McGann, for that helpful introduction to this new system. It's time now for 3 things from Town Hall, FCTV's condensed version of the takeaways from recent municipal meetings. Selections are chosen based on community impact.
The Select Board passed a mask requirement for municipal buildings in a recent meeting. This action was taken due to a decision of the Board of Health, which voted to recommend to the Select Board that they start requiring face masks for anyone entering a Falmouth municipal building to help slow the spreading of the COVID-19 virus.
That's what the board's conclusion came from, and I'm giving you the information.
Well, we're asked tonight to consider the health and safety of the people that work in town public buildings, and I think that it's our responsibility to consider that, so I'm willing to, we've got a motion and a second, so I think we'll take a vote on that.
Mr. Chair,
Yes,
just sort of a thought for the board's consideration. I wonder if you might want to take the 2 ideas separately. So the first piece was the town-controlled facilities, and the second piece was advisory to others. They're just because they're pretty different implications, and for clarity, I wonder if you might want to take one piece at a time.
Okay, that's a good suggestion.
I'm certainly willing to change my motion to do just for town-controlled buildings. And it's the inside, not the outside, that is being recommended. So I'll make that my motion.
Okay,
I'll second.
okay, and so we have a motion and a second to put mask requirement on indoor town-owned building facilities. And roll call vote?
Scott Price, aye.
Patterson, aye.
Taylor, aye.
English Braga, aye.
And Brown, aye.
The Select Board also met this past Saturday to discuss various items. Among these items was a discussion about future planning for large-scale infrastructure projects. The board passed the operating budget a few weeks ago, but some board members are concerned that along with the budget, there is a need to identify and plan for these projects that concern things such as sea level rise, affordable housing, and coastal resiliency.
We have lots of input from the Coastal Resiliency Committee and Affordable Housing Committee. We get special housing production plans produced and what have you, but we don't see how it's going to get implemented. And I don't mean that it has to be in a specific budget, but I want to see how we can plan to implement these things, because it's more than just balancing the budget. The budget should reflect the processes by which we address some of these really strategic risks that the town is facing. And I don't think anybody could question the coastal resiliency issues that come along with sea level rise and climate change. That is a very well-established scientific fact.
The Select Board also discussed several things about the efficiency of meetings and agendas. The board talked about ideas such as moving the town manager's report to earlier on the meeting agenda to allow for further discussion of some of the possible issues that may warrant it. The board also discussed streamlining the process of some agenda items, such as special events that could be delegated to town staff.
To respond to your question, Mr. Chair, I think you could, let's see, is it on the agenda? I was going to say you can vote tonight to make that change, but maybe it's not addressed specifically enough on the agenda. So we would just put it on the agenda, and we can put it on the administrative agenda just as, to vote to delegate to the town manager approval of, and we can, you can let us know whether it's just weddings or if you want to do that for all of the special events.
To see the meetings in their entirety, check out Government Channel 15's program schedule at fctv.org. After a quick break, we'll hear from Neighborhood Falmouth's new executive director about strategies to help keep seniors enjoying more of their golden years within the comforts of their homes. Stay with us.
A New Year's message from the Upper Cape Women's Coalition. We firmly believe that conflicts within our homes, our community, and our country can be resolved by listening to each other, learning from each other, and respecting each other.
We greet the new year with renewed efforts to ensure that women's lives are safe, free of fear, intimidation, and violence in our homes, at work, and in our neighborhoods, no matter where we're from, whom we love, or how we identify.
Women's bodies are respected, a healthcare system that takes our needs seriously, from research to treatment to supporting women making decisions about when and if to start a family.
Women's work is valued. We are paid and promoted equally, so we are able to retire with dignity. Women's families are supported. Policies allowing women to make responsible decisions between family and work. Women are represented from school boards to the White House, and all votes are protected and counted.
We send you warm wishes to all for a safe and happy new year.
Welcome back to Falmouth in Focus. Neighborhood Falmouth, Inc. is a community-based membership organization that provides information and services to help members live independently, safely, and comfortably in their own homes for as long as possible. We talked to the new executive director, John McDonough, to learn more.
Good morning. Hi. How are you? I'm great. It's a lovely day. Oh, it's gorgeous.
Our mission is to deploy volunteers who go and assist seniors for a variety of their mundane, general, everyday kind of needs. Much of it is transportation, but it can be changing light bulbs. It can be helping with taxes. It can be picking up prescriptions, you name it. So we have about 135 members who are served by 165 volunteers. A member calls Neighborhood Falmouth and lets us know what their need is. We record that, put it into our system, and blast it out to our 165 volunteers. And almost immediately, somebody accepts that assignment and connects with the member, and job done. So it's a very successful model. What I love about it is that the culture is one of a loving nature. I mean, it really is philanthropy at its purest, love of humankind. Our volunteers are extraordinary. They're committed, they're dedicated, they love the members, and they love each other. So it's a community that's growing and that loves what they're doing. We have a waiting list of people who wish to become members. We can accommodate them only when we have enough volunteers to serve properly. So our real need is to expand our volunteer corps. We could absolutely take in another 50, believe it or not, volunteers, and they would be very happy, and we could add more members and, continue to grow. It's huge, and you can imagine having a loving neighbor who stops in from time to time and sees if you need anything. That's what's happening. That's what our members like. They are able, with that kind of an assistance, to stay in their home longer. They are, it's very inexpensive in terms of the membership compared to taxis and car services and skilled nursing care facility or a nursing home. So we believe that it has a positive economic impact, frankly, on our industry and our members.
For more information or to find volunteer opportunities, visit neighborhoodfalmouth.org or call 508-564-7543. Thanks to Bob Fenstermaker for that information. Friends of Falmouth Dogs has been successfully placing stray and surrendered dogs with happy homes and owners for over 30 years. That's 210 in dog years and a lot of wagging puppy tails. President of the board, Anna DeSantos, explains how this dynamic organization's mission has expanded beyond the confines of Falmouth and beyond just pet adoption.
This organization's been here a long time. We have placed hundreds of dogs, actually haven't counted. Some dogs are strays that the animal control officers who are across the hall from us bring in, and after the 7-day waiting period, if they haven't been claimed, we can then take custody of them and put them up for adoption. So very often we have to bring them to the vet, we have to have them checked out, maybe they need to be neutered or spayed, which we are required to do before we adopt out a dog. And then we have dogs that people surrender to us, which is really hard for people to give up their dogs, but many of them are moving and can't bring their dogs to a new home or an apartment. In some cases, they are going into assisted living, or in some cases, they just can't afford the dog anymore. We have, right now, a German Shepherd. His name is Bruno. He's about 6 years old. We think he is absolutely adorable, but really wants to be with people. We have Frank, who's one of our newest dogs. He's an Australian Shepherd, about 6 years old, friendly. Then we also have Gus, who is a Border Collie. So he and Frank came to us as surrenders, and they're so good. They're just really sweet dogs. We have a little dog that's in a foster care environment at the moment. Totally wonderful, according to her foster mom. We are getting 2 dogs from Alabama. So in addition to having dogs surrendered to us, we are actually proactively going down to contacts that we have in Alabama and identifying dogs that we think would do well here in Falmouth or in the area around us. We also provide veterinary assistance for people who can't afford to have their dogs taken care of. I think a lot of people know that vet costs have gone up on the Cape, and people just can't afford even maintenance annual exams like they used to. So we actually helped probably 100 people just in 2020 and 21 to provide good care for their dogs. We also provide food vouchers for people who need help with food, which has also gotten very expensive. Happy to talk to people who are having problems with their dogs. If you think you want to surrender them, but maybe we can provide some other assistance, even recommendations for training, or to maybe in some cases help you do the training with your dogs, we would be glad to try to do that. So we don't just want to adopt out dogs, we want to make sure dogs are in good places, they're healthy, well trained enough so that they function well in your home and in your neighborhood. And we're trying to really think of ourselves as sort of the all-encompassing resource for dog owners.
Visit the Friends of Falmouth Dogs Facebook page to learn more about Gus, Frank, or Bruno. or to find out about volunteer opportunities. Thanks to Eileen Preston for that story. As the temperatures drop and prices rise, many in our community may need assistance keeping their families warm and healthy this winter. The Good Neighbor Energy Fund has helped to raise over $23 million for individuals and families in its 37 years of existence. We spoke to Chris McKinnon from Eversource about this year's campaign.
So the Good Neighbor Energy Fund is a really fantastic tool that's out there to help moderate income families and individuals in Massachusetts who might be in a temporary or short-term situation where they can't meet their utility bills. And so what this fund does is it provides a $500 payout to those who qualify that goes directly to the utility bill so that it's in their name. And it really does come into play to help families and individuals just sort of bridge that gap if they've fallen on hard times. And we are seeing that need. And I think just the increase, from 750 families last year to, the projected goal of 1,250 customers or families this year just shows that that need isn't going away. And there's a lot of external factors out there that are really putting pressure on our customers, especially with the COVID-19 pandemic and a lot of jobs that were cut during the pandemic and haven't necessarily come back just yet, as well as the medical costs and illnesses that have been associated with the pandemic as well. And so, this is the perfect time of year to start talking about the Good Neighbor Energy Fund. Our customers, as well as other utility customers, are going to see green envelopes that will come in their January bill. And we are so grateful for the generosity of our customers who year after year donate to the Good Neighbor Energy Fund and help make sure that there is money available to help these families in need. There is a need out there, and there are a lot of families and individuals who have never needed assistance before. And we want to make sure that all of our customers out there who may need assistance don't feel embarrassed about it. It is not something to be ashamed of. Come to us. We are here to help. We'll work with you one-on-one to find whatever program best fits your needs. And then, of course, the Good Neighbor Energy Fund is a great place to start to qualify for that $500 payment to hopefully help you get through the heating months here. Every dollar counts, and every dollar helps a family in need in Massachusetts. And so you can be assured that when you donate to the Good Neighbor Energy Fund, it's going to a specific need that is then administered by the Salvation Army. So, sometimes people might be a little bit nervous about where their donation, tax-deductible donation goes, and if it actually gets used. This actually goes directly towards helping our neighbors in need here in Massachusetts.
For more information on the fund, visit magoodneighbor.org. Thanks to Alan Russell for that information. We're going to take a quick break, and when we return, we'll see what Falmouth Public Schools has planned for the 21st annual No Guff Week. Stay with us.
Hi, we are Pat Harcourt and Jamie Hutchinson, altos who sing in the Falmouth Chorale. Why do people sing in the Falmouth Chorale? It's certainly not to get rich. It's to enrich the community and share a passion for musical excellence and the joy of singing.
We sing all kinds of music, from masterpieces like the Mozart Requiem to works about hope in current times.
We lift our voices together to enrich, educate, and inspire our audiences, and to provide them with a window into the world of diverse choral music.
Singing together since 1964, the Falmouth Chorale plays a central role in keeping great choral music alive in our community.
Who are we, you might ask? We are your friends and your neighbors.
We regularly invite children, young adult choirs, and dance groups from the community to perform with us.
For our concerts, we engage talented instrumentalists and professional soloists to bring out the power of live performances.
We are part of the community, just like you.
Visit our website at falmouthchorale.org to find out more about us, about our concerts, and about how to join us in keeping beautiful music alive on the Upper Cape. Thank you very much.
Welcome back. No Guff Week in the Falmouth schools was started by the late Doug Riebesall, a Falmouth high school teacher at the time, as a proactive way to thwart bullying in our schools and improve the school's social climate. Plans are underway for the 21st annual No Guff Week recognition throughout Falmouth. Here's more about what No Guff is about and how its traditions have evolved through the years.
No Guff Day has been a Falmouth tradition for more than 20 years now, since its creation in 2001. The idea started with Greg Gilbert, an adjustment counselor at the time, who wanted to improve the atmosphere at the high school and help bring more positivity into the school. He organized a group of students to come up with a name for the movement. "Don't give me any guff" was the slogan they chose, and No Guff was born. Another former teacher, Doug Rebisel, helped create hundreds of t-shirts to celebrate No Guff. Tragically, Doug died in a motorcycle accident, but the memory of him and the message he believed in continues through this day through No Guff. No Guff Day is typically held at the end of No Guff Week and is a way for the community of Falmouth to connect over a positive message. It's a day for Falmouth to appreciate the kindness in our community and to find ways of spreading that kindness.
This year, No Guff Week will be celebrated from January 31st through February 4th. We'll have more in the next edition of Falmouth in Focus about how Falmouth marked this occasion. Thanks to Eric Larry and Ryan Weber for that story. Before going on winter break, students at the Lawrence School helped our Falmouth community recognize Diwali, the Hindu festival of lights, with an installation at the Falmouth Art Center. Here's more about what students learned about this worldwide celebration.
So this is a celebration of Diwali with the 7th graders at the Lawrence School in collaboration with the Falmouth Art Center. We were invited by Laura Reckford to join their organization and put together an installation to celebrate a holiday that many of us are not familiar with. It's celebrated in India, and so my students all made a clay lantern, which is actually a little different than what is typically made in India. In India, it's typically made of paper, but for an outdoor installation in New England, we needed something more durable, so ours are made of clay. They'll be hung up here at the Falmouth Art Center for the month of December. Diwali in some ways is very similar to what a lot of Christians celebrate in the States in celebration of Christmas. It's a celebration of lights, a festival of lights. So this will be illuminated with regular kind of outdoor lighting, and it'll be up here for the rest of the month. And then the kids will be able to take them home after the celebration is over.
It took 5 days, and we just had to pick our designs. If we wanted to roll a design on it, we could. If we could leave it plain, that was fine too. And we had very pretty paintings of what we could do.
I kind of really just liked learning about the whole celebration. I find learning about other cultures really fascinating, just to learn about what other people get to do and what they believe in.
Thanks to Ryan Weber for that story. FCTV wants to remind you that television can be as easy as hitting record on your smartphone. We'd like to invite all Falmouth residents and visitors to share their slice of life with us. Email us your photos and videos or upload them to Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram using the hashtag MyFalmouth or Falmouth in Focus to be featured on the show. Thank you to our most recent contributors. We leave you now with the sights and sounds from around Falmouth during the most recent snowstorm. Thank you for watching Falmouth in Focus. We'll see you next time.